Once again, Gurgaon, Haryana's gleaming millennium city, touted as a mini Singapore, has been reduced to a waterlogged nightmare after today's monsoon downpour. Heavy rains, a mere 13 millimeters, submerged arterial roads like Sona Road, Golf Course Extension and Subhash Chowk under several feet of water, stranding commuters for hours in a chaotic gridlock. Cars floated, ambulances stalled, and residents waded through waist-deep floods. Their dreams of a world-class city drowned in neglect. This isn't new. Every year, Gurgaon's pathetic infrastructure crumbles under predictable rains, exposing the hollow promises of civic authorities. Despite crores which are spent, drains remain clogged. Planning is abysmal. Social media erupted with outrage, branding Gurgaon a modern-day Venice in scorn. When will the authorities wake up? Where will the city, raking in billions, get the infrastructure that it truly deserves? Well, joining us to look at this, Mr. K.T. Ravindran is a well-known urban designer. Lalit Agarwal, founder and MD of V-Mart Retail. Dr. Sunanda Banerjee, founder of Co-Emerge, a senior corporate officer, and she's at the corporate office in Gurugram. She also lives there. And Dr. Rahul Bhargav, Principal Director-in-Chief, Hematology at Fortis Gurgaon. Thank you all very much for being with us. Dr. Bhargav, let me come to you first. I think there's nothing more important than healthcare. The fact that you had ambulances which were stuck potentially may have cost lives. And this happens year after year. Your job is to save lives. That's what you've dedicated your life for, right? When you see roads clogged with water and patients who need help unable to get to a hospital, what are the thoughts that go on in your mind?
Vishnu, first of all, it's pathetic. 2016 Gurugram has not taught us a single thing. In last 9 years, this has been a hollow cry of promises and hopes that this year is going to be different. Nothing is different. Every year, one rain shows the true face of this millennium city, which contributes through taxes and through its innovation across India. Imagine just not only Indian patients getting stuck up. You imagine this is a city which boasts about medical tourism. People across 40 countries tends to come for their healthcare needs to this city. What happens to them? As we are showing ourselves that we are going to Moon and Mars and our astronauts are there, that's a matter of pride. But when you see on the roads, can that put us to shame? Can that show us the value of Indian roads? Can it show us that a true power, superpower? It is just not us, Vishnu. When people look through the social media, when people are planning to travel from first world country to get their healthcare needs, this is a shameful act. We are not putting Gurugram, Haryana or India to shamefulness. It is entire nation has been put to the shame by showing all these clogged roads and these hollow promises. None of the politicians since yesterday has come forward to talk about what next, who is responsible, who's accountable. You can have a hoarse cry, we can keep on crying on Twitter, we can have a fight, but I'm telling you next year also it will be the same. This was Operation Sindoor, now this is Operation Road. When everybody was on the forefront to beat Pakistan, this is the time the MLA, MPs and the bureaucrats has to be on the roads to showcase what India stands for. This is not the true India. This is not the superpower the way we want to be in Gurugram. This is pathetic. This is dismal. This is dismal condition of the condition, the way these citizens contribute to the national growth, and what the taxpayer gets is the clogged roads. 2 hours walk for a 10 kilometers back home journey in the middle of the night. There's nothing else we can say about these pathetic conditions where the authorities and the administration has failed us miserably year by year and will continue to fail us year by year in the next coming years.
Very strong words over there, Dr. Sunanda Banerjee. It's just bizarre, isn't it, that the administration in Gurgaon sends an email alert to companies saying, oh, stop working, just work from home. In 2025, how is this exactly what India's economy should not be about?
Thank you so much. And for putting up this, it's been such a challenge every year that people across corporates, people, working parents who are facing, there is so much of so many jokes, so many WhatsApp forwards that you keep, and we just heard a lot of these nomenclatures that are put around Gurugram, Gurujam, and Singapore, and we also heard about Venice vibes. But it's so shameful that a city that's promising huge chunk of economy, huge chunk of startups that are contributing to this economy, and there is a huge population that's working, and we call it as a great cosmopolitan city. We are struggling every day to even for a simple thing like reaching office. I have parents around me who took 2 hours to reach daycare because their young children were waiting and they couldn't be at a place where they were supposed to be 2 hours before. There has been, I think, 112 recurring flood zones being declared across every year. And not a single one you have seen that all the projects around 105 crores that are in the last leg, it's always said the last leg that's happening. Corporates are experiencing immense amount of performance downpour because people are not able to, first of all, forget about reaching office, but the deadlines. Not all roles can take up, can be taken up from work from home. There are roles that need to be there. People need to be in office. They need to report, and they can't perform. They can't really work otherwise. So just issuing advisory rather than saying that, it's like, oh, you might get a heart attack, just keep a tablet with you, rather than saying that, I would make sure that we have all the, mechanisms in place to make sure that people are fit. So it's actually so much of oxymoron happening across. And you hear so many people who would keep working and, keep talking about low performance. They'll keep talking about there's so many challenges, which is just because of civic collapse. We are not really prepared. And you talk about Disneyland now coming to Gurugram. We are definitely not ready for Disneyland. What we need is basic infrastructure in place. And also now last couple of years that you're hearing so much of investment opportunities coming up to India from other countries. What image are we putting out there? What people are looking at these pictures and saying, oh, really, this is the new India to talk about? Millennium City, right? And people are stuck. They are so much in trouble, and then managers calling up and them saying that, what, I just need to get this done this way or the other. So who's actually responsible? Who's answerable? And yesterday, in fact, it's so interesting. Yesterday it was my son's birthday. People got stuck. They were coming back from office. People got stuck 3.5 hours for a distance of 5 kilometers. Can you imagine? And people had to report back to office the next day. And just an advisory that honestly didn't work, because you know what? The advisory was optional. There were officers that still compelled people to come, who had to leave with their young children, who had to be dropped at school 2 hours before the office time, and they were reaching home at 1 a.m. What kind of millennium city we are talking about? What kind of investment opportunities we are talking about? I'm very unsure.
You know what Dr. Bhargav actually said, Sunanda, is something that struck me. He said this keeps happening year after year. And if I was to actually play out images of this scenario from last year, the videos, or from the year before, or the year before that, nobody over here, none of our viewers would actually be able to tell the difference. It's just the same. So we've got that up on our screen, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. The models of the cars have changed, but that's about it. It's a ridiculous situation. And it is truly a crying shame. K.T. Ravindran, why does Gurgaon's drainage system consistently fail? Mr. Ravindran, can you hear me? All right, we'll come to him in just a moment. But Lalit Agarwal, let me come to you first. What were some of the problems that you as a founder and MD of V-Mart Retail faced to run your own business?
Yeah, hi Vishnu. So definitely, I mean, there's a chaos. We run our office here, we run stores here, and not only this city, but there are multiple such cities in India which faces similar problem. But yes, Gurgaon has been one of them where we have seen the rapid unplanned urbanization which has happened, and this has definitely outpaced the development of robust civic infrastructure, and particularly the drainage system that has been very, very faulty, and it lacks those comprehensive and functional drainage plan. But I think, yeah, as a retailer, as a business person, as a corporate MD of a corporate organization, we do face these challenges Typically, I mean, this city doesn't have a challenge only during these difficult times, but every day at 9 a.m. in the morning, every day at 6:30 in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening, we face similar challenges. We face people coming from all over the world into this city, leaving this city to Delhi or to NCR. So I think there are challenges of traffic handling. There are challenges of understanding the kind of infrastructure which is required versus the kind of availability which is there. There are challenges even in terms of the civic senses that people have. I mean, and it is just not authorities which we should hold responsible for, but it is also the citizens who live here, who work here, who come here, and who the way adhere to their own duties and their own ways in which they should dispose of the wastage or they should treat the city also. And I think there are definitely challenges that we as a retailer face, just not because we are operating a store here, but I look at it more like a citizen and a person who work here, and the kind of difficulty that people face and the time wastages that we see. It is a label, it is a brand of India, Gurugram itself and Delhi NCR itself. And I think we can't treat this city like this. We can't treat our citizens like that. And it is just not our citizens, as someone said. There are multiple kind of tourism which is happening, multiple kind of corporates which visits this city, and it is a fame that we all are impacting. So I think there is a more heavy preparedness which is required for these monsoons, which is very important. There is definitely more better quality of project execution which is required, where definitely insufficient work is happening in the desilting
You know,
of
Mr.
drains.
Agarwal, I sometimes feel, and this is true not just of Gurgaon, which is the worst, of course, but several other parts of the National Capital Region, that they probably can't get the situation fixed. They probably cannot dig up the drainage system, which is antique, and actually replace it. They are physically incapable of doing that. I live in South Delhi for the last 3 months. I've been trying, with the help of the municipal authorities, to try and get a sewer line changed because fresh water and sewer water were mixing. The monsoons have arrived and the work is still not finished. This has been going on for more than 2 months, and this is for just a small stretch. But on an area as large as this, I think we need to ask larger questions. Have we overbuilt a place like Gurgaon without basic drainage, sewerage, and road systems having been developed, with no vision for the future and how much infrastructure or construction this area can actually take? You know, I mean, it's too late now, and people, millions of people, will just have to live like this. I mean, and that perhaps is that scary reality. I mean, you have trucks going into holes in 2025. What exactly are we looking at? But let me go across to Ratan Dhillon. Ratan is a commuter on a daily basis. Can you tell us what problems you faced yesterday and today?
Like every monsoon, Gurgaon people aren't celebrating the rains. They are preparing to survive the rains. We can see the large skyscrapers, the high-rise buildings. But what's the point of those high-rise buildings if we are getting the basic needs like the water, the pollution, the clean air, the clean water roads, the roads we are not clean? What's the point of building those buildings? So, and government is making the high rise buildings, skyscrapers. जो offices, बड़े बड़े offices देख सकते हैं, the large hoardings of the political parties. What's the point of that? The common man, the everyday commuter or the resident of Gurgaon people does what only wants the two basic necessities. That's the clean air and the roads, good road conditions, and there's no rainwater standing there.
You know, let me just go back to Dr. Bhargav. You know, what were some of the reports you were getting from your hospital today of ambulances stuck, of people being unable to get to hospital? Could you tell us what you heard?
Yeah, Vishnu, there are a lot of ambulances got stuck because people didn't had any choice to go anywhere because all it was waterlogged and land grid. It was situation. There was a traffic jam all across all red lights. There is no system. So let me ask the people through you: are we the only city in the world who has grown so fast? Are we the only ones who have our economic ambitions to grow and become a developed country? None of the countries in US, none of the countries in Europe did ever had this growth spurts. Problem is the basic civic sense in the minds of the people, in the minds of the bureaucrats, and in the minds of the the politician is completely missing. We are trying to reach to the moon and the Mars of these worlds, but we are not trying to solve the problem which is on ground, which is hurting us every day, which is bad roads, poor water supply, bad air quality. We are not talking about that because neither these are election issues, these are not issues to be talked about, these are unaccountable issues, and people at large like you, me, and all people sitting on this dais has got one duty: work hard, give your taxes, blind yourself, and keep on suffering. That's the attitude where the government has now gone down. You continue to suffer, it doesn't matter. Your pain does not matter. It will happen today. Mark my words, it will be next year, it will be next year, it will be next year, because we have the capacity to build skyscrapers, we have a capacity to build Disneylands, but we do not have the will to solve the civic problems. Whether it be Delhi, whether it be Gurgaon, we all want to milk the economic benefits, right? Reap the economic benefits, but we do not want to solve the problems. Whether ambulance gets stuck, people died. Yesterday, did anybody report that how many people died? 2 people in front of our eyes, in front of our house, died because they got stuck. They got stuck up into the manholes. Where was this? The DC office puts some photos, MCG and DC office puts the photos that somebody is cleaning the roads after the water has got logged in. What were they doing for past 6 months? Where the 500 crore rupees has gone, which has been told that we are digging these roads because the future will be bright. So we suffered in summers, we suffered in winters, and to face the same thing in the monsoons. Is there any accountability? Is there any person, Vishnu, who will be accountable today? Is the MCG commissioner, DC collector, MCG, Mahapauls, mayors, or the politician will be held accountable? Will anybody ask? No, nobody will be asked, because the common man has to suffer, and they will continue to suffer till they stand up and ask that these are the election issues.
No, that's
and if
exactly
you do
my
not
point.
give this, will not do it.
It's just like air pollution in our country is not an election issue. It just strikes me that infrastructure is perhaps for some of the most heavily congested urban areas on earth, it's still not an issue which our political leaders take seriously enough.
And we should just remember the Camellia house went at 106 crores. One alcohol shop on Bristol Chalk went at 98 crore rupees. But we do not have the civic sense. All this money was pocketed by MCG and the government, but they didn't have the clue to solve our water problems. Can you beat this? 105 crore Camellia house and 98 crore rupees liquor shop has not been able to solve our woes because we are common citizen. Because it does not matter.
Yeah, Ratan.
And the confidence of politicians is so high that they are planning to conduct the Olympic Games here. Look at the confidence of the politicians.
Sunanda, no, I think that, what does one say? Sunanda, is it not as a tax-paying, we are all taxpayers on this panel, and we all secretly complain about how a large percentage of our salaries every month gets debited at source and gets transferred to the government, whichever government, the center, the state. And at the end of the day, we are wading through water, or all of you in Gurgaon are wading through water to go home. And you're stuck indefinitely in cars. And is that not frustrating? Where is your money going? The basic requirement is, basic infrastructure. A road is basic. Clearing up drain water is basic. Is that not a huge frustration for you?
In fact, thank you for bringing me in at this point, Vishnu, because I so agree with Dr. Bhargav. It's funny and it's sad at the same time that you have these 4-5 key large builders in the city, right? I'm sure everybody knows there are 4-5 big names that's operating majority of your luxury segment of infrastructure real estate. Now, when you go in these societies, of course, it's a different world. It's a different way of working, and you have these, wonderful, posh. You don't know where the money is coming from in a lot of these places. But just outside these societies, it's full of potholes. It's so amazing and it really surprises me that how these people can claim, and as citizens, I think not just government, let's not completely blindly blame one side, because somewhere or the other, let's face it, we are responsible, right? We all have seen the percentage of voting in last year as well, and especially in Gurugram. So no matter how fancy champagnes and wines that people are popping in their homes, they are still not stepping out to vote. So I believe no duties, no rights, right? No right to speak, no right to have a voice. So when infrastructure falls so badly, people who are sitting in homes and in their penthouses and cribbing about it, I don't think we have the right completely, because the taxpayers, again, a very small segment, voters, a very small segment. So what we are doing is, of course, now these wonderful real estate, they are, I'm sure you might have also visited some, Vishnu. They
Yeah, of
are a
course.
beauty in itself, right? They are amazing. You feel really a different land altogether. But as soon as it comes to a duty piece, you see how people park cars and how they want to cut lanes when, especially in even last night, when you see, we all have seen from our balconies, people have been cutting lanes left, right, and center, getting the traffic worse, which already it is. And there are poor auto rickshaw walas, and you have Zomato, Swiggy guys who are drenched and in really bad condition, and people are honking behind them like mad people. So I don't know who completely to blame, which side to completely put onus on. How, as responsible citizens, if we have been mindful also of our, let's say, waste disposal, of how our society sewerage, is it working right or not? RWAs of societies, are they mindful enough? I understand you cannot take up everything, but what about our set of duties as well? So when people splash water on two-wheeler people sitting in their Mercedes and shouting at them, it's also a lot of, you see, Gurugram as a city, NCR as a region itself.
Yeah.
We are still not able to have that.
No, I take, Sunanda, the
bring
point
everything
that you're
same level.
mentioning, that there needs to be this convergence of what of what citizens do and what the government does. But I must say, and as much as I completely agree with you, I do believe that's a topic for another day. Because just look at this: where is our government? Where are our roads? Where is the sense of actually doing something about it? Because it's going to take years to fix this.
What's the point of collecting the road tax?
Yeah.
I would say, if we weren't able to drive our cars on the road, what's the point of collecting road tax?
Can you imagine the damage done to cars which have been sinking on insurance costs alone? Look, I'll leave it over there. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. And the little thing that we can do here in NDTV is start a campaign, which we are doing. It focuses not just on Gurugram, but it focuses on the condition of roads in several parts of the country. When it rains, our roads disappear. There's so much more that needs to be done. Let's think about civic infrastructure. Let's think about infrastructure everywhere from a holistic perspective, because without that, we aren't ever really going to grow in the way that we want. We'll take a short break. More coming up.
ब्लॉकेज एरियाज़ काफ़ी हैं, पानी का कोई समाधान नहीं है, समस्या का समाधान इन्हें ढूंढना पड़ेगा।
कल देखते इतना पानी था कमर तक।